welcome to my little corner in the internet. Thanks for joining me. I recorded this video yesterday. I was actually doing a Paint With Me podcast episode, but I didn't like how it turned out, so I didn't post it, and I'm re-recording it today. But I wanted to paint when I woke up because the house just felt a little empty and it just felt like it needed a little bit of color. So I painted this little coffee poster. It's not the best. I don't like the orange that I came up with, but it's something. And I haven't painted in a while, actually. It's been it's been a year, I believe. I've just done like little pottery painting here and there, but that's about it. So I was really happy to have the urge to even paint because that doesn't usually happen to me. So yeah, I'm glad that I was able to paint this yesterday and kind of have it take up the rest of my Saturday. Today's Sunday. But I just wanted to re-record what I had filmed yesterday because I had a free-flowing conversation yesterday, and it was just a fun little thing to do. This time I have certain ideas, but I don't know what exactly I want to talk about. So it's just going to be like a random little episode. But I have my little matcha here, and yesterday I also picked up a book. And I've never done this before, but I picked up a philosophy book. I've only read philosophy text in university, but I've never read a book. And for me to pick up a book about philosophy is new. So I'm excited to read this book. It's by Cicero on living and dying well. Like a reiteration of the philosophies that this guy from the BCs wrote. So I think it'd be really interesting to read something like this. I think this is what I'm in the mood for, so I'm excited to get reading. But the last book I read was the 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene, and that was really fun to read. I was going to pick up another Robert Greene book, but I don't know, all throughout the summer I think I was feeling power driven, as you can see from my videos, but as the new season comes in, I feel like I'm starting to wind down and I'm wanting to read like deeper context. So that's why I went for a philosophy book instead of Robert Greene's. But someday I'll pick up another Robert Greene book. But yeah. So it's been about 2 weeks since I last posted a video, and I was surprised with the results. I didn't expect people to actually interact with the video because, like I said, it's a really small number of you guys, and I really appreciate each one of you. But it was scary for a little bit just because that video was a very personal one, and I was hoping that the most personal one that I'll release gets the least amount of views because it's intimidating to put your feelings out there. But you guys enjoyed it, and I read your comments about suggestions and recommendations, and I'll take it into consideration and see how much I can do. But I really appreciate you guys, feeling comfortable to be open in this little space. So, and that's what it's meant to be. So feel free to interact even more. I said I was going to use the community page more often, which I will. I just don't have any ideas for now. But yeah, I'm really excited with where this channel is going. I am hoping that not a lot of people find this channel, just because I want to keep it like a little secret hidden passion of mine. For the time being, it's like my little baby. So I hope that it doesn't grow too big too fast, just because I want to take it one step at a time and like really enjoy the process of learning how to edit, learning how to write scripts and all of that. So yeah, crossing my fingers that we stay small for a little bit, so it's just us. But yeah, so I actually wanted to share a text message that my friend sent in one of our group chats, and let me find it. And this is, I think, why I still have I'm still in that mind space of relationship and all of that, because a friend of mine is currently going through a separation, so we are kind of trauma bonding right now. So but one of our friends in the group chat was sharing his 2 cents about relationships, and this is what he said. He said something that's like pretty out of character generally, which we were all surprised by. I was so surprised by, but what he said just like hit home, and it just resonated so much that I want to share this to the rest of you. But basically, he was like, so the person who is going through a separation, he is struggling between healing or, going to somebody else. And my friend, he was like, don't forget to grieve. Sure, you can play it cool and all, but don't forget to feel out your emotions, because otherwise that goes on to the next person. And if that person was the one, then you just push them away. I just think that is so true, and it's something that more people should keep hearing because, like I said in the past videos, like, our generation is just so poor equipped to emotionally navigate a relationship, a natural relationship these days, that I feel like there's just this trend of passing on your trauma to another person, whoever you get into a relationship with, and just keep spreading all of this negative behavior, negative thoughts, negative thought patterns. So I want you guys to, like, I guess, ruminate and, like, just keep thinking about that, because it's just so true. I feel like not a lot of people take the time to heal from a relationship, like, fully. Yes, they might feel some sense of peace and they think that they've gotten over it and they're able to move on to a new person, but sometimes you have to do, like, a trial and error, like I said in the breakup video that I recorded, that I put out. You have to test yourself if you're able to do it, and if you're not, then you have to back up, take a step back, and reanalyze your situation, because you don't want to go into a relationship unprepared and be, to put down your walls and be vulnerable again when you're not really strong enough to do so. So it's really, really important to spend that time, no matter how long it takes. The best thing that you can do for yourself and for other people is to fully heal from your past and come into a new relationship where you're able to give yourself fully again without having some reservations. And let me just clarify on fully healing. So I know that it's not easy to heal a trauma or a hurtful experience, but I think what matters most is that you're putting in an intentional and conscious effort to keep healing. You can't just think, oh, you've done the work, and then deceive yourself into thinking that I can move on to a new person because I've done the work. Like, you really have to dig deep into your emotions and into your thoughts and, like, really understand if you're able to enter a new relationship. And like, because I feel like I've seen this more often than not, but people come into a relationship with so much reservation, and that is not the epitome of somebody who is ready to love again and who's ready to give everything that they have and to be vulnerable. I think if you still have some reservations and you're looking to date, I think that says so much about you already, and I feel like that's all you really need to know, because like looking for a relationship should be exciting. It shouldn't be like scary. It shouldn't be frightening to enter a new relationship. I get it that if it comes and you might not be ready, but that is why, it's also possible to heal while you're in a relationship. And I've experienced that too, and it's true. You can heal some part of you while you're with somebody. You don't just have to go on this like super like this solo journey by yourself. Sometimes like being with the right person will help you will help heal some of those trauma. I just think that people should focus more on healing than forgetting and doing rebounds and all of that. I just think it's just so unfair. Like, it does, like, think about this. You meet somebody and you get deceived that they're ready for the relationship, to be in a committed relationship, but then like 3 months in, they start drifting away and they say that like, I don't think I'm ready. So actually that kind of contradicts what I'm saying, but it's good to test yourself, to do a little trial and error, but you have to be careful and you have to be transparent with the person you're doing it with, because you don't want to lead somebody on and then leave them hanging in the air. Throughout the past videos, I've always talked about diving in and having those inner monologues with yourself, and it's not easy to develop that sense of self-awareness, but the more you do it, the easier it gets. And the more you do it, the more you become knowledgeable about the people around you and the people that you interact with and what it is that you actually want. Basically, like, take the time that you need in order to heal before even entertaining the thought of being with somebody. Like, you have to give the relationship the respect and the love that it deserves. Like, it doesn't end. That's why it's like a little tricky, because if you've been in a relationship for 2 years, should it take 2 years before you get into a new relationship? I'm not sure. It all depends on you and how deep you loved in that relationship. Definitely think that it's not a lot of people see through the healing journey and they jump into a new relationship before they even fully heal. And that sucks, because you're doing a disservice to everybody else that you're going to meet in life. And like my friend said, like, if the universe gives you the person that you are soulfully connected to, but you didn't do the work of fixing up yourself and healing and being better again, then you're gonna miss your chance. And that's just really sad. Like, I can't imagine like how many times that might have happened to a person. And that's why, like, you can't escape it. You just have to fully see it through and dive into the experience of heartbreak and healing. So yeah, even though you don't come out of your healing journey healed enough, I think that just being by yourself for a certain period of time makes a huge difference, because who knows, you might find this new love of being alone, the serenity the peace that it gives you, just being alone with your thoughts and be like functioning in the world, with this new perspective of a new self-awareness of how the world works. I think that has its own charm to itself. So it's really important to just take a break from being in a relationship because it's so mentally and emotionally draining. And if you're not ready for a relationship, you shouldn't go looking for one. Don't go on dates if you're not emotionally ready to explore and to be vulnerable with somebody. Because, like I said, you're just gonna take the experience away from the person that you're dating, first of all, and you're just gonna keep pushing back your progress even more if you enter these situations where you're not fully ready for a committed relationship. And it's based on preference. Sometimes, like, the best way to, for some time of your life, you might just want like casual relationship, and that's fine, but you just have to be transparent with the person that you are doing it with, because I've seen this enough in dating shows where people go on these dating shows and say that, I am looking for love, blah blah blah, and then somebody comes along that they connect with and they say, oh, like, I have a lot of trust issues and I don't know if I'm ready. Like, what are you doing in the show then? Like, I'm not trying to talk about anyone specifically, but I'm just like, it happens so commonly, and I know it's for entertainment purposes, right? But like, there's some truth to it in the actual world, where people go on dates and flirt with make a move on somebody, but they end up leaving them mid-air because they get scared of the thought of being in another relationship. And like I mentioned in the previous video, that it will feel scary to enter a new relationship, but the whole experience is to get hurt. That is part of the equation, and that's something that you can't take away from a relationship. I think there is some truth to, like, you've heard stories of people leaving a relationship because they don't fight enough with their partner. Some of it, I think, like, if you really think about it, it might be just like some toxic traits, but I feel like some of it is also true, because you can't have, it's almost impossible to have a perfect relationship, to not have a single argument about something, to not have a single disagreement about something. So it's part of being in a healthy relationship is to have discrepancies and to have some differences. That's one thought that I have, that I've been thinking about lately, is to be mindful of how you present yourself to other people who are giving you hints that they want to be with you or they like you. Just be careful with how you interact with those type of people, because you don't want to give them the wrong idea and make yourself look bad when you're really just going through something. So, as much as tempting as it is to just easily jump into a new relationship and forget about all of the painful emotions that you're supposed to feel, just sit yourself through it and just be alone. When else are you going to feel that type of pain? As hurtful as it is to be in love again, I think that it's also one of the beauties. You learn so much and you grow so much when you experience something painful in life. And I think everybody knows this, but a lot of us are afraid of that feeling. So then you become stagnant and you don't grow emotionally. And I think I'd rather be the one that's been through a lot and have so much to share than somebody who is just living mindlessly in the world and not have anything valuable to share, because I always evaded the things that might hurt me, and I was always the one to leave first before they can hurt me. Like, that is the last person that I want to be, and that's what I encourage everybody to kind of try out if you haven't, is to fully immerse yourself into the experience of, the emotional pain, because you just come out so much better. You come out so much stronger at the end of it, and it's not something that you can ever exchange ever. It's growth that is reserved for you, and it's something that is irreplaceable. And so, ironically, you have to thank the people who caused that pain, because they are the ones who kind of taught you the hard way of what life is about. So, I feel like that's just like the essence of life, is to feel, experience, and then learn. So if you keep that in mind, and you are mindful about the experiences that are happening for you, I think that it's not going to be too hard to navigate relationships. If you just, you can say that you're a brave person for entering a new relationship and being vulnerable again, but you can also be afraid of how it's going to turn out, and you can have this overwhelming fear and itch to hurt and leave the person before they even get to hurt you. You can feel all of those, but like I said, you have to keep reminding yourself that it's better to see it through than to give up halfway and ever live with the what if questions. It's just so much more beautiful to think that you gave it all, and you really saw you saw through the potential of the relationship, and you didn't give up halfway. Because do you want to live your life with regrets of oh, I shouldn't have been scared to continue the relationship, I shouldn't have been scared to explore it all with her or with him, because now I'm in this new relationship and all I think about is what if, had I done this, had I done that. That is one of the things that I don't ever want to experience in life, and that's what helps me be more open-minded and be more open to experiences, is because I don't want to have regrets. And I am as afraid of pain as much as everybody else, especially emotional pain. I personally have a hard time, first of all, getting over the pain, and then second of all, moving on to a new person. I've always had that huge gaps in between my relationships, and and I think that's why I have this perspective now of being open to enter a new relationship, is because I usually take that time in between to really grieve the relationship the proper way, and give it the respect that it deserves, give the other person the respect that they deserve. So that's why I think I come out of each relationship more refreshed and stronger, and even able to give more than I could give before in the last relationship. And I think I like the way that I kind of deal with these kinds of situations, and this is not just all me. This is from a collective of experiences in life, and my friends' opinions, and me seeking help from other people on the internet. It's everything that I've done to help me cope, and I hope that everybody gets to experience that kind of love, where it's one of the most painful things that you can ever go through, but it's also one of the most beautiful experiences you've ever had in life. And it's something that you will forever remember till you're 80, 90, 100. And it's just one of those things that you'll look back in life and be like, wow, like I'm glad that I got to experience that kind of passionate and romantic love in my life, because I gave it all. I poured all of my emotions into it. I was, vulnerable. I was begging, I was crying, I was laughing, I was having the most fun time in my life, and I want for everybody to have that kind of experience, because it's not something that comes easily when you become an adult. Like, when you become an adult, everything is just centered around responsibilities. And so I want to encourage everybody to go out there and feel everything that is there to feel, no matter how intimidating and no matter how scary it is, because everybody carries some sort of trauma. It's part of our lives. It's part of our being. So really, like, the most human thing that you can do is to be vulnerable, respect the other person's trauma, explore it all together, and if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. And if it does work out, then good for you. You've found a very strong connection or bond with this person. And speaking of connection and bonds, I was talking to a friend about this, that every time that we are with somebody, whether you guys have been together officially or not, like, every person that we come across with, we share an exchange of energy, and that energy doesn't easily go away. No matter how apart you are in the world, even if you're in like two different countries, I think that it's so true that when you feel something, it's connected to that other person. I have a theory. I don't know if this is a theory, but I think that it's that sometimes, like, when you're thinking about someone special, I think it's true that they are also thinking about you, or the other way around. Like, when perhaps you think about your ex, and you're just going about your day, and all of a sudden he pops up or she pops up in your head, and you think, why? I think that's a signal from the universe or from the other person, trying to let you know that they are also thinking about you, and it's like a shared experience. And that's something that is inexplainable. Like, you can't really do a research on it, and like, it's not science, but it's just something that I like to believe in, because it helps me feel better, and it helps me accept the way things are in the world. And I think it's just very romantic, and it's very hopeful, I guess. I don't have much else to say. I just hope that if you're going through this kind of experience, whether you're in a relationship now, or you're going through a separation, or you're about to get into a new relationship, to really, be brave and face everything that relationship has to offer. Because, like I said, the last thing you want is to have any regrets. That's like my entire take. Obviously, I don't want to box myself in and say that I'm never going to do another relationship video, but I have just been feeling inspired, I guess. Like I said, like, I tend to have this huge gaps in between a relationship, and I am really, I have been struggling being alone, which is not good, because I used to be very good with being independent and spending time alone and not feeling lonely. But for some reason, I'm just feeling it even more these days, and it just makes me, for some time it felt as if like I'm losing control of the situation, and then I immerse myself in art, I immerse myself in a book, or I listen to podcasts, and I feel better again. And I think there has been a shift in my perspective when it comes to relationship, because the past couple of videos, I feel like I've been really stern about moving on and letting go and, just completely cutting people off and all of that. That's the kind of content that's represented right now. But I also want to give the other side of that for people who might not think that way, that sometimes, being apart from your person is the best thing that you can do for now. And if time allows it, or if the universe allows it, for you guys to reconnect sometime in the future, also be open to that experience. Because I actually have this friend who does not give second chances at all. He is brutal, but learning from him and seeing how that's going for him, I think that I don't want to close off the opportunities. And the reason why I say this is because I think I was being really contradictory. I was contradicting myself by saying to be open to experiences, and then, in my own personal life, closing that off because I had a high ego and I didn't want to go back to a relationship that had made me feel ashamed, embarrassed, and, have a low self-esteem, insecure. I don't want to go back to that because I've done the work, and, I feel like I deserve more. But life is more than that. It's more than your ego. It's more than the guilt and the revenge that you feel, the anger that you feel for the other person. It's more than that. Sometimes you have to let go of those negative emotions and, be stupid, basically, to put yourself in that vulnerable situation again, and to, so I commend people who are able to trust somebody once trust has been destroyed. And I get the argument that sometimes, it's just, you're not doing a service to yourself. There's this whole notion on the internet right now that to increase your standards, to really kind of be selective of who gets to experience your love, like what I said in the other video. That's all true, that's all still part of what I believe in. And I think that's something that some people really can make the most, can make use of, because sometimes, and it's very circumstantial, depending on the person that you're with, or depending on the kind of situation you're in, you have to go about it a certain way, and you just have to be the one who makes the decision. And sometimes you go back and forth, right? Sometimes you feel like, I am not giving any second chances because I've already given myself so much to this person, and that's it. I can't give more. But also, don't try to limit yourself and kind of bury down the feelings of wanting to try again, because that itself is you keeping away that experience for yourself. When I say being open-minded to experiences, it's just trying it all. It's going based on how you feel and how you it's just following your heart, and whatever your heart says is what you gotta do sometimes. And that's a little controversial. I'm speaking about this from a very specific situation. Obviously, if you're in a dangerous situation, that's not what you do. You just completely leave and never come back to that person. But sometimes, if you've done the work and you've healed properly and you want to give it another shot, then give it another shot, because these things don't come in life easily. And if you happen to feel the same way that this other person feels, I think that it's worth giving a shot. Don't be so high on your ego where you're like, well, I already said this and I already said that, and that's just gonna make me look bad if I go back on my words and, give this another opportunity. I feel like my friends are gonna hate. If they ever see this video, they're gonna hate what I'm saying right now. But, anyway, I think that, the best the best approach in life is to just follow what your heart says, and don't listen too much on the little voices in your head that's saying, oh, like, you're too good for this, or you can't go back, like, it's already too embarrassing. Like, sometimes you just have to swallow it and, give yourself in. And who knows, it might be better the second time around that it happens. And anyway, like, I hope everybody finds what they're looking for, because, like, life is not, like, one-sided. It's full of gray areas. I'm realizing now. Everything is just gray, and everything is just so intimidating. It's scary. There's so many uncertainties in life that sometimes, like, we let fear hold us back from doing the things that we actually want, and I don't want to do that. Like, I really don't want to be held down by my fears. I want to be able to challenge myself and feel new emotions that I've never felt before, and do things that I've never done before. And I think, I'm doing all this for my own growth, and for me to be able to share my experiences to other people, and to give my 2 cents about it, because I'm just like every other person in the world. I have my fears and I have my doubts. But at the end of the day, I want to be able to live my life to the fullest, and to grow old and be able to be content with where I'm at, and to not have any regrets in life. I think that's the message that I'm trying to send. So, I hope that it made sense a little bit, and I hope I didn't confuse too many people. Like I said, like, it's very different, right? Like, I don't know what situation you guys are in, so really take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. Like, I don't want people to go back to a relationship that's unhealthy at all. Like, I'm just trying to say that to be, to not let your ego do everything for you. And yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed this little rant. I'll try to do more of these sometime, in a much less unprepared way, and then we'll see how it goes. But yes, I appreciate you guys for being here. You guys have a fun week, and I'll see you guys whenever I upload a new video. Thanks. Bye.